Thank you for staying with us. Now, the National Information Technology Development Agency, Nitda, has warned that there are possible spillover cyber attacks against non-primary targets as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, joining us to look at the possibility of this happening and to shed light on what Nigerians should be doing to protect themselves is Madwako Akachi. He's a Nigerian cybersecurity analyst and penetration tester at Upgraded Era ICT Solutions. He joins us right here in our Lagos studio. It's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Thank you, Victor.
Of course. So let's begin with the possibility, because, I mean, a lot of people will be thinking, you know, this Nigeria is not involved in this invasion or the war, but they're saying that there's a likely possibility of cyber attacks, you know, increasing in the country. You know, what's the possibility? Tell us.
Thank you for that question.
Of course.
First of all, I think I would like to point something out, if you don't mind.
Please.
You're
the expert.
I don't think it's a good sign, you know, with that press release that NITDA just released. If you want to ask people to tighten their security, you know, harden their defenses, give that advice. Really, there's really no need to involve, you know, what's going on halfway across the planet. If we're worried about Russia, Ukraine, what happens next time Israel bombs Palestine? What happens when China decides to invade Taiwan? What happens when Russia leaves Ukraine and then invades Belarus? Cybersecurity attacks will always be on the increase every year. You know, if you want to ask people to harden their security, you know, if you want to give advice, just give the advice. There's no need to link it to what's going on in Eastern Europe. Yeah. Regarding the possibility, definitely, even without that crisis, every year, cyber attacks are on the rise.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely there'll be a rise in attacks. Whether those attacks will be targeted at Nigerians or Nigeria, the possibility is low.
Maybe perhaps for businesses, you know, operating, you know, with counterparts in Ukraine and Russia, perhaps that's the angle that the NITDA is looking at this from.
Generally, attacks by Russian threat actors are usually against government institutions. They hardly go after private institutions. So if there's need to advise, if there's need to increase security and all that, it should be, you know, the rush should go to federal MDAs, which they did. Yeah. And that's another thing I would like to point out. The most of the advice that was given, it's funny, so to say. You're asking people you're asking MDAs in particular. You know, it was a general advice, yes, but MDAs were included. You're asking MDAs to update software. You're asking MDAs to carry out regular VAPs, that's vulnerability assessment in penetration testing. Yeah. You're asking MDAs to train and retrain. These are things that on a normal day should be standard practices. You should not have to tell them, oh, you have to update software. If you are doing MRDP, if you're using RDP services, that should be secure. These are things that on a normal day should be a regular thing. So it's worrisome that NITDA would release a whole press release, a whole press statement asking federal MDAs, you know, to do what on a normal day should be standard. There's something that they included. I'd like to point out something that I read, and it really worried me. There's a free web protection service that NITDA provides. You understand? And they were advising MDAs and, you know, organizations to use that web service. And I'm certain, because NITDA, they like press conference, they like press release, press statements.
No, just stick with issues, you know, leave NITDA.
Okay. On the normal day, I'm certain that service is not a recent one. So that the fact that we are at this point and we are still advising, and NITDA here has the authority to enforce, to implement. You understand? So for the fact that we are still giving advices, we are still urging MDAs and, you know, private organizations to use something that is free is really worrisome. And I...
Yeah, but because, so the thing is, I mean, like I said earlier, you are the experts here. And, a lot of people might not have the knowledge, that you have. So a lot of people might be new to stuff like this. So if, such advice is coming, from the regulator or, from the development agency, I think we should take it with some pinch of salt because they perhaps must have seen, some signs here and there that, are making them take this action. So it doesn't come as a surprise when it happens that, there was no warning at all. So maybe there would have been one or two signs here or there, to have necessitated this warning. Don't you think so?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, cyber attacks will always be on the increase, whether there's a war going on or not. And whenever there are warnings like this, obviously, it's a good thing. It's a good advice. It's a good thing they've done. Yep. I just wanted to point out, those issues that were really bothering me. And then for individuals, like I said, it's very unlikely. I don't think Russia...
For the Russian threat actors.
I'm telling you, what do we have? Like I said, from what has happened before, usually they go after government agencies, government organizations, but if it is important that, we give no advice is bad, especially in issues like cyber security. So yeah, definitely there will definitely be an increase, and there are steps that should be taken by private individuals and organizations to harden their cyber defenses.
Yeah, but even like you said, I mean, it's on the rise almost on a daily, so to speak now. So let's even take away the fact that Nitda is advising now. Yes. But on a personal level also, I mean, because we are susceptible to what's it called, to cyber attacks. Our phones, our emails, and all of this. So what would you ask people to be doing, to keep themselves protected? As we get more people come online, in millions on a daily basis.
Yes, I was going to get there. I just wanted to settle that fact about MDs. Yes,
that's all right.
At the moment, the most common types of attacks you can see are they are called phishing attacks. Yeah. Basically, attackers they mimic legitimate businesses and organizations, and there's something that happened recently, that it amazed everyone in cybersecurity field. MTN sent, I forgot what happened, for about 24 hours the services were down all over Nigeria, and the CEO of MTN
let's refrain from calling. Let's
not call names. Okay, this is my first time, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so but basically a message was sent to every subscriber, MTN subscriber, and it had a link, and MTN complained that people were not clicking that link, and that was amazing. 3 years ago, you wouldn't have had that level of knowledge that you should not click links that you are not sure of. Yeah. You understand? And usually this is how attacks are carried out, especially phishing attacks. They pretend to be legitimate businesses, yes, and then they send these messages that contain these links, and people click on these links, and these links, they download malware, and with that, information is stolen. So you understand? Yeah. So there are several others, but that at the moment that's the major. It's like the laziest type of attack. Yeah, anyone can do it with the right tools.
Well, so lazy as it is, it has wreaked havoc to a lot of people,
yes, and
unfortunately, they've lost so much. But let's hope that doesn't continue. And when it comes again to the fore, people would be wise enough not to click those links. But I have to say thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Adequacy, cybersecurity expert.
Yes, thank you.
Of course.